Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Friday evening, May 20th, 2022. I am Salad Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk.
The world turns around you. This part of my soul beats only for you. Do you know you are everything? You're the flowers of the spring. You're full moon in the dark. You're my heart and my soul. Do you know you are everything? Of the
Okay, well, I am going to get started. All right, so let's stop the music here and welcome people who are watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So today I want to talk about sitcoms, sitcoms and society. Have sitcoms changed society? What sitcoms were some of the best? So as like anything else in life, things evolve. And when TV first came out in the late 40s, we had different TV shows. Of course, not as many as we have now, but we had something called sitcoms, and sitcoms were supposed to make you laugh. Some of them were family oriented, some of them not so much. But when sitcoms first came out, most of them were the family oriented ones where you can sit back and have a laugh with your family. There was always a moral in the story. At the end, it was always this feel good thing. You had laugh tracks before you had live audiences. When you look at something like I Love Lucy, which 60 years later is still extremely popular. And that's another question to ask. Why do you have some sitcoms that will last and others that don't? Why do some sitcoms endure the test of time? Why is it that you have generations of people growing up on a sitcom like I Love Lucy? Where when you look at it in terms of fashion, the cars they drove, their hairstyles, everything was different. But yet, you can turn on I Love Lucy to today and you can relate to it and you can just laugh. The same thing with the Andy Griffith show. You have shows like that just endure the test of time. So I ask, why are some shows able to endure where others are not? Why do some sitcoms come and go? They don't even last a season. They barely, get past 4 episodes and they're canceled. Why were sitcoms cut down from doing, 38 episodes back in the 50s and 60s to 26, and now you're lucky if you get 18. Most episodes are 13 and that's it. Was it greed? Was it that we had more channels out there, so therefore there were more sitcoms, and everyone had to make space in time slots? Why were some sitcoms why do some sitcoms last and others don't? Why is it that one person on a sitcom, they tend to become the breakout star? Like when a sitcom first starts, on that very first episode, do you know who the star is going to be? Do you know who that breakout person is going to be? And the next thing you know, that person either has their own show or their own spinoff, or maybe they take the leap and they go to the movies. And during all this, has society changed? Has society changed in some way? Hello, Doss. Welcome. Has society changed in some way? Welcome, Power Girl. Okay, society is always changing. Yes, it is. So again, I ask, when you have sitcoms that have, again, stood the test of time, why do those sitcoms last? Why are we still laughing? Like I said, I Love Lucy. Why are we still laughing at I Love Lucy 60 years later? I mean, I turn on that show and some of it is so extremely corny, but it's funny. And you can watch the same episode over and over and over and you can laugh. But some shows, you just watch them once, and if they come on again, you're okay. Yeah, I saw this episode. But some episodes, even though you've seen it 100 times, you tend to want to watch them. Okay, so Doss says because funny is funny no matter when it took place. Okay, Doss, so let me ask this. I don't know how old you are, and I'm not asking, but would you say that some of the Welcome American Icon, would you say that some of the sitcoms that were made back in the 50s, 60s are better than the ones that are made now? And again, I'm going to once again reference I Love Lucy. I'm going to reference Andy Griffith. Okay, Doss says yes and no. Okay, would you say that the sitcoms, the older sitcoms, and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say the black, I'm going to say the black and white for right now. Would you say that those sitcoms tend to have more morals compared to the ones now? And what I mean by that is, you can use the word bitch in a sitcom. You can use, a lot of nasty words, but you can't use the F bomb. You are still getting beat for the F bomb, but in a sitcom you can use the word bitch and people will laugh. But 30 years ago, you couldn't say the word bitch. If you said the word bitch, you were taken off the air. Your show was taken down. So what has changed? Has society changed that much that we allow that? Well, welcome, Ziller. And let me ask this. Oh, you're 97. Okay, I'm assuming 97 is your age. So let me ask this: Has have sitcoms changed society, or has society changed sitcoms? So, what do you think? And if anybody wants to call in, you guys are more than welcome to call in. So, in fact, I forgot to take my phone off of, so I don't get any phone calls. So, um, so sitcoms mimic society. Hmm. So, okay, so then let me ask this. So, at the end of the 60s, 67, 68, when we had the Vietnam War, what was going on, and you still had, Mayberry RFD was on, and you had the Munsters and um, Gilligan's Island. Um, then things started to shift. Then you got things like Happy Days. When Happy Days came on in the 70s. You had the Brady Bunch that came on in the 70s. You had the Partridge Family that came on in the 70s. Okay. So we were coming out of the Vietnam War. So were the sitcoms adjusting to society? And at the same time, you had the hour-long dramas that came on that were more gritty, as opposed to, you really didn't have that many hour-long dramas in the 60s. I mean, you had things like the Untouchables, whatever, but most of the dramas and the sitcoms were um, just 30 minutes. So Ziller, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Solid. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially Family Matters and what'd you say the Brady Bunch? I think that helped.
Well,
Because it was funny.
Family
So,
Matters came out in the 80s.
oh well, okay. Then sorry. Then the Brady Bunch. Then sorry.
But so Doss says that sitcoms mimic society. So do you think that you look at the Partridge Family, the Brady Bunch, the sitcoms of the 70s, like the sitcoms of the 70s were just, I mean, they were still like, hokey and corny, whatever, but they were not, but they were, had a little bit more grit to it than the 60s. And then you get to the 80s with your Family Matters and what have you, when you had Alex P. Keaton, and he's this conservative and he's walking around his suit, whatever. um Society changed again, or again, did the sitcoms change society, or society changed the sitcoms?
Uh, I th- I'd say both.
Okay, so
Maybe.
what sitcom do you think mimics society, using Doss's term?
I don't know.
Well, what is the oldest sitcom that you remember growing up?
And that would be the Brady Bunch.
Okay. And is there any particular reason why you liked the Brady Bunch, or you didn't like it?
It was just funny, and to me, I mean, I liked it. And because I watched it with my my granny, it was fun,
Okay. Now Power Girl
and I
said,
learned things.
okay, so but so sitcoms had a moral, right? For the most part. At the end of the story, or end of the show, you had that moral, like, you're always supposed to share, or you're always nice to people, or it always had that moral at the end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Power Girl says I think DOS is right, and DOS is coming up. Welcome DOS. Welcome DOS. Okay, I don't see.
How's it going?
Hey. So
Am I here?
yeah, you are. You
I'm
are.
here. Nice. So anytime you take a TV show, especially like sitcoms, I go back to my point I made. You're mimicking society. So the point of the sitcom and the show is to make money. So to make money, you're gonna look at what is going on in culture, pop culture, and all that, and you're gonna mimic that, and you're gonna try to use that as a formula to make a show and entertain the people, because that's where you're gonna get your audience.
Okay, so then let me ask this: at what point then, like I said, did the word bitch become acceptable in a sitcom?
Well,
But you
it's
can't use the
always
F word. But you can't use the F word.
we'll
Yeah.
get there. We'll
Okay.
get there. It's just the evolution of things. Um,
But people are
let's see.
dropping the
You
F
could
bomb.
almost
But people are dropping the F bomb left and right. But you still can't say it on TV. They will still beep you no matter what show you're on. You're going to get beeped.
well, that's actually not correct.
Well, okay,
If
unless it's
you go
cable.
back,
Okay,
if you go
cable.
back to the show, no, actually, if you go back, do you remember the show 24? Jack Bauer.
Yes.
So they actually used the F word
Did they
in
say?
one
Did
episode.
they?
In one episode, um, in order for a movie like to, I, I might not be correct here, but if you say more than one F word in a movie, it automatically becomes rated R. You could use it once in a PG-13 movie to keep that PG-13 to
Mm-hmm.
draw
Mm-hmm.
more of a crowd.
Well, we're talking. Okay, so when they
But
use it in that one,
all it is it goes back to people pushing the envelope. You keep pushing the envelope. You keep you until it becomes acceptable, and that's what happened. So even to say like "damn it" back in the day was
but do you
unheard.
really? Okay, but do you think the word? You think the F bomb and the B word? Well, I've already said it, so I'll say it again, bitch. Do you think
Fucking
that?
bitch.
Do you think that it's acceptable?
Um, in circumstances, yes. I don't think I want my kids turning on, the cartoons. And well, actually, no. I think about that.
No.
No, I think
Seriously, but
there's a
listen.
place for it. There's a certain audience for it, and there's you're just catering to certain demographics.
Okay, then let me ask this. When I was growing up, between 7 and 9 p.m. was considered family hour. And that's when the Brady Bunch came on. That's when Partridge Family, what have you, all that stuff came on. Then at 9 o'clock, you had Starsky and Hutch, and yes, I am dating myself. You had all of those other the more gritty shows, came on. And you did not hear any cursing. Now, even on cable, there's no family hour anymore. It's like everyone is cursing or saying something that technically kids probably shouldn't hear.
Yep. So
So no, I'm just saying. I mean,
well,
why do you think that? Why do you think? I mean,
you can't really compare back then in the way TV and shows are to right now. I mean, if you're looking at like 2022, it's almost like these shows are becoming extinct. They got to compete with YouTube and just all these other videos. So they need to push the envelope to get people to talk about it.
but
Does that make any
yes,
sense?
no, it does make sense. But do you think that if you had like ABC, let's just say
No.
ABC never said anything, the F bomb did anything, but they were more like the 70s, with the, Brady Bunch and what have you. Do you think a channel or a station like that would make it? Do you think that they would be out of business, or do you think that they would be
Wait a minute.
forced to change their format?
Wait a minute. Start this over again. I'm sorry, I got distracted.
If you had a station like ABC where all they did was play the family goody stuff, never cursed, never did
Yep.
anything, do you think they would make it, as opposed to having to change their format just to
No,
survive?
of course they'd have to change their format.
But you don't
If they're
think
the
that?
only ones doing it, you you got to keep up with what the other guy's doing. And if the other guy's doing that and they're having success at it, then you got to do it. If you're having success doing what you're doing with your, GPG rated family hour shit, then, stick with that formula if it works.
Okay. All right. So then let me ask this. This is a question I asked before you came on. Back in the 50s and 60s, episodes would go like 38. They would have 38 episodes, and then they would take a break. Then it was cut down to like 30. Then it was cut down to like 26. Now you're lucky if you get 13 episodes. Do you think they did that? One, I know they did it, one, because of money, but do you think that we don't, why do you think that we don't have that many episodes anymore?
Well, because people nowadays have such a short attention span. Again, I guess this will go back to like when you're looking at like social media, YouTube's, TikTok, all that bullshit. Everybody's attention span is 5 to 10 minutes and then move on to the next one. So it's really tough nowadays. If you're going to get a show, you're going to start a show, especially on a network right now, to compete with that. And that's just the way society is changing. So now entertainment is going to cater to that movement and that change.
Okay.
And it goes back to what I said. It goes back to what I said, about, the sitcoms mimic society or entertainment mimic society. They use that as their inspiration to make money.
So why do you have a show like uh, I Love Lucy that's been on for 60 years, and it just lasts and it lasts and it lasts? People
Well, it,
every
it does with a certain demographic, but how long is it going to last? I
well, I
mean,
mean,
you still watch it. Do you think
right? But
do
you,
you think some 25-year-old kid is watching it?
I think possibly. I mean, because
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe a few, but not many. I mean, everything has a shelf life, and
yeah, but considering
um,
how, but look at I Love Lucy has been replayed over and over in countries and what have you, and it's like generations grow up with I Love Lucy, just like Seinfeld. I mean, Seinfeld, has been off the air for almost 20 years, but you turn it on and people are still laughing. So why do those
right. Well,
shows?
you're talking about two groundbreaking sitcoms in history in different eras that again catered to the times.
But they're still catering to some of the times now.
Not much.
Mm, okay, all right. So why do you
So
think? No, go on.
no, go ahead. You
No,
make
no,
go
no.
ahead.
I was just going to ask, why do you think some sitcoms make it? And I'm saying either from 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, well, whenever. Why do you think some sitcoms make it and some of them don't? And it seems like that
Well, because
now.
that's easy. Because some of them suck.
Okay, but you have some sitcoms where, or even shows. I mean, even shows is like the show has been on. They've only had like 3 episodes. It's like that was, they're canceling it. It seems like that
Yeah.
back then they gave it time to find the audience and people to watch it. Whatever. Now it's like
But
after
you
two
weren't
episodes,
you
it's like, oh,
back
sorry.
then. Back then, you weren't competing with 1,000 different competitors.
So, do you think that and I understand exactly what you're saying, but do you think that episode that people tend to think sucks could be that hidden gem that if they let it stay on just a little bit
Well,
longer, then wow, this is
absolutely,
actually
absolutely.
good.
Well, absolutely, because Seinfeld was almost canceled after its first
Right.
season.
Yep.
But somebody said, "Hold on, let's give this a chance." You know, sometimes people don't get that chance. Well, too bad. Life ain't fair. Oh shit.
All right. So, growing up, what was your favorite sitcom?
Um, shit. I don't know. I I guess it changes with age.
Okay.
I mean,
So
obviously in the 70s, late 70s, I was a little kid, so I'm watching fucking Tom and Jerry. 80s, Jesus, I can't even remember the 80s.
okay, Tuttle says married
I don't think I've watched.
with
I didn't
children.
think I watched much. What's that?
I'm
Married with
looking with
Children is
Tuttle's. Yeah, I'm looking what Tuttle
freaking
said.
great.
Married with children.
Yeah,
Yeah, that and that's another
that's
one.
that's
It's a
that's one of the
generational
few
thing,
that I could still watch.
right? And that's been off the air for like what, almost 30 years.
I don't know. They probably had their last
25.
season in like
Yeah,
91, 92.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know because uh I was talking to someone else and we were talking about the Jackson 5 and we were talking about the Osmonds, and I love the Osmonds. And I was, and I made a comment to this person. I said, if the Osmonds had moved to LA, would they have been the same group that they were? Would LA have messed them up the way it tends to mess up a lot of people?
God, I'd like to think so. But then again, I never watched the Osmonds, so I'm not really familiar with them except for the chick there doing the Weight Watchers commercials.
Oh, Marie Osmond. I like the Osmonds. So I mean, I don't know. When I was thinking about doing this episode, I was doing it. I was watching.
Seinfeld.
I was watching I Love Lucy. I've never liked Seinfeld. My husband, he watches it all the time, and he's downstairs just cracking up, and I'm like, it's not funny to me. But
Does he watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
he does watch that, and he also watches what's the one who used to be a Scientologist and then she left. Her husband was like a UPS driver on the show or something.
The King of Queens.
The King of Queens. Now that's funny, but I'm watching I Love Lucy and I'm cracking up. It's like, and I'm saying to myself, I have seen this show so many times, this particular episode, and it still makes me laugh.
Right. Well, it's just like music. You fall in love with a song and you don't never stop liking that song.
Okay. And I Love Lucy is another one that
I want to hear Ziller's thoughts on this.
Wasn't going to make it. Ziller?
Yeah, I agree with Dose. I still listen to a song. You got to adapt to it. Once, yeah, Dose has a point. You adapt to things. Dose also said another thing that I agree on. Adapting to each era. I've changed from listening to Jerry Springer to listening to other things, and I also had a show earlier about.
Good example, man.
Hold on. Let him talk. Go ahead, Zilla.
Well, here's the thing. I grew up with my grandparents early on, and I talked about this, and that's what I watched was watching Jerry Springer, and then I went on to watch cartoons, and then I went back to watching other shows like soap operas. Then I went back to my childhood, and exactly what Doe said, you got to find what actually works, and you got to find the right viewers to see what is successful in the community. And I agree. I don't like that. I hate that there's only 8 episodes. I'm looking all over the place on Netflix just right now, and yeah, there's only 8 episodes. I hate that. I'm looking for 90 episodes each season.
I mean, to me, and it always, and to me, it always seems like every show that I get into, they end up canceling. I'm like, I'm just getting into this show and they're canceling it, whatever.
I got to say, it sounds like you got bad taste in shows.
You talking about me? Oh, no. Some of my shows, I'm like, seriously. And it's interesting because when I worked in entertainment and, we would go through this
You a
whole.
dancer? Did you dance?
No, I didn't. I worked with people's scripts. I worked on the Titanic and a whole bunch of other places. But when you were like when you go through pilot season and you're reading all these scripts and you're looking at all these pilots that are coming up, and you're reading the script, you're like, oh, this seems like this would be
Solid
good.
Blue,
Yeah.
did you have a pilot?
No.
Did you do a pilot? Did you do a pilot that got canceled quick?
No.
I don't expect you to admit it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But I worked on a lot of pilots, with a lot of people. But but it's like you're reading some of these scripts.
So
You're
this
like,
is the whole thing. This whole thing is like personal to you.
What?
This whole topic and conversation, it's personal.
Why is it personal?
Well, you're talking because you've worked on all these pilots that I'm gonna say 99.9 or 99% of them got shit canned.
Well,
Quick.
I mean, it wasn't personal to me because I wasn't the person, I wasn't the actor in it, so that doesn't have anything to
Right,
do
but you're
with
involved
me.
in it.
Well, no, not in
But you're
the,
involved in it.
well, put it like this. It was a job. I had a job. I worked at an agency, and you send people out, you read scripts, you do this, that, whatever. If they got the part, they got it. If they didn't, they didn't. So no, it was not personal. I didn't even grow up in California, so not personal. But I mean, you just look at the way, I guess, like you said, society, or I'm sorry, yeah, society does evolve, and you just look at the different sitcoms and TV shows that have come and gone over the years, and I just think it's
I
interesting.
think your whole evolving thing could be argued, but sorry, go ahead.
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
no,
if society's evolving.
I mean, go ahead, say. I mean, what do you want to? I mean, go ahead.
No, I don't want to say. I mean, you make it like we're getting better. So
No,
shows.
I'm not trying to make it like that at all. I mean, I'm just saying that uh that society does change, like you said earlier, society does, does change. And you just look at sitcoms and TV shows over the years and how they have changed. So that's why I was asking, have sitcoms changed society, or does society change sitcoms? And then my other question was, what sitcoms were the best? So, which I know is everyone has their own view of, what sitcoms, they like or they didn't like. Welcome to Ralph
Well,
William
you get a
podcast.
good. You kind of made your point with when you mentioned I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was a trend-setting show. So any show that's still in syndication, especially the old ones, you go back. You could even mention like the Honeymooners, uh, and they're still in syndication. So that's what makes a successful show, and that's why they're still being viewed today.
Right, and this is and that's why I was saying earlier, that you do have something that I Love Lucy is a generational show, where I said that people are still watching it. I mean, you have, TV Land, who is, all their shows are, their lineup pretty much is dedicated to, old shows, whatever, and people are watching. TV Land
Um,
is a successful network, so
I
people
got a
do want to watch those shows. Welcome, Bobby.
Ralph wants to know about architecture bunkers. Build them with bricks, dude.
Well, again, I mean, and that's another one. Archie Bunker was groundbreaking. Let me read some of these comments here. Total says my pilot was canceled before it started, but it was my fault.
I can't believe nobody's told me to fuck off in the comments.
Hold. Well, they know
We'll
how
get there.
how my show is, and they're not going to do that.
Oh, that's a
So,
bummer.
Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley was okay, but I know a lot of people liked it. Okay, Married with Children. Did I miss any other comments? No.
Good Lord, Ralph. You know you
Wait, hold
type
on,
it like you
hold
read it.
on.
Good. This
Hold on.
guy.
Hold on, guys. Let's just respect each other
Swag.
here.
Sorry, you swag.
So, So yeah. All right. So I mean, so
Hey,
going.
hey, Ralph, I read that last comment in in a Caps voice. I'm sorry, you swag.
Okay, BP Man says Father Knows Best. I like Father Knows Best. I watched some of those episodes. Yeah. So okay,
You know
so
what show I hate? You want to know what old show I hate?
which,
Little House on the Prairie. My mother used to love that show, and whenever I got grounded, she would make me sit there and watch it with her. It was fucking awful.
well, you know, Little House on the
But again,
Prairie.
that's another
I
one
mean, that's
that's
another
another
one
one that's still on syndication.
that's been right. It's been on for. I mean, I think the last episode was like in 1980 something, 1981, 82, and that's another show that has lasted the test of time. And you look at what's another one
Well,
that Michael Landon was in. You have Bonanza that's
Heaven's
been in.
something. Yep,
Um,
Bonanza and Heaven's something. What the hell was that one where he's like the angel that
you,
walks a planet? Like,
you talking about touched
but
by an angel?
yes, but
You
he didn't know
know,
kung fu.
I mean, and that's another one. I mean, it's like you have these shows, that have lasted the test of time, and they are generational shows that you have other generations that are growing up, and they are popular with people are growing up on those shows. Little House on the Prairie. What's the girl that played Allison or who was the mean girl on A Little House on the Prairie? Uh, anyway, she still goes around the country talking, and she gets new
I'm sorry, I'm
fans.
reading the comments. I don't.
So yeah, so once again, who touched who? Quantum Leap. I like Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap was an interesting show. That was an interesting show.
There's a great GIF I use from that show. Where he kind of looks in the mirror and is like, "Oh, I'm retarded."
Well, that was an interesting show, and I liked the way they took it off the air. Welcome, Redneck Rambler. Welcome. So yeah, so
What about Star Trek?
this is go ahead.
What about Star Trek?
I
That
was I was
quite
never a
a
Star
trendsetter.
Trek fan with what's his name? What's the original what's
Captain
here
Kirk,
with
William
Cap?
Shatner.
Yes, I was never William Shatner,
You're
Captain
more of a
Kirk.
next generation kind of girl.
I did like the yes. Welcome,
More of a
welcome, shy
yeah.
lady.
Your life definitely would last longer on the with Captain Picard.
So yeah, I did like that show, but I was never a Trekkie. Even though it was on when I was younger, I was never a Star Trek fan, and I never really got into Happy Days either. I mean, I watched it every so often, but I wasn't really a Happy Days fan. But I did like the Partridge Family. I did. I liked
Fuck you, Tuttles.
come on. Watch your tone here. I'm telling you, we don't do
Oh,
that
I'm
on this
sorry.
show. I keep
I'm
telling
sorry.
you, not on my
I'm sorry.
show. All right.
I'm sorry.
So
F you, Tuttles. Take it back. Doctor Who is not better than Star Trek. Wow.
F Troop. I remember F Troop. Highway to Heaven. Now that was another Michael Landon show. I'm going up in the comments. I try to read everybody's comments. Doctor Who was better than Star. Tunnels, I have to agree. Even though I'm not a Trekkie, whatever. Doctor Who, I would watch Star Trek over Doctor Who. Good times. Okay, so yeah, welcome, Pink Squirrel. So basically, anybody else want to come up and chat or no?
Yeah, somebody's come up.
You
I'm
know,
starting to
so
annoy Blue Sister
no,
because
no, you are not. I'm just telling you what you can
other people like to get up.
and you cannot do. Marcus Welby. I like Marcus Welby. I wish they would put that back in syndication. They had it in syndication. Marcus Welby, MD. Yeah,
Never heard of it.
that was early 70s. That was early 70s. So I mean, and now you look at the shows now. Like you compare the Marcus Welby's where he was a doctor or whatever, and again it's the 70s. Now you have the good doctor and the resident and some of
Big
these,
Brother, Survivor.
yeah, it's like, let me ask this. Do you think that a Big Brother or Survivor could have survived back in the early 80s, 70s, 80s? Do you think that type of show would have done well?
But it's hard to say. Probably. Because it would have been so different. I mean, it was so different when all that stuff came out.
But do you
Because they
think
tried to call it real life, which is
okay? Tell
further from
says
the
heck,
truth.
heck no. But do you think welcome Crucible? But do you think back then they would have even allowed people to live together like that, considering that the codes were a little different, what you can and cannot do? You have,
Yeah, probably not.
okay. So do you think something like you take away Survivor, but do you think something like maybe The Amazing Race could have lasted? Because you're not really living with anyone.
It could have, but it definitely would have been formatted differently.
How so?
Well, again, you're going back to what society was then. So some of the stuff you're seeing right now wouldn't be acceptable back then. But the formula itself, I think, would have worked.
Okay. All right. The Mod Squad, Shy Lady. Yes, I love the Mod Squad. That just was in
All right, I got to run for a few.
syndication.
Nice talk. Good talk. Solid Blue Sister.
Which one? Okay, I totally missed that. Totally missed that one. All right. So, see, Tuttle says no, Richard Hatch was a homosexual that would have flew back. Okay, don't know about that. Don't know what you're talking about. Zilla, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, the Survivor thing.
Uh-huh.
I think if they gave it a chance, I definitely think it would work. Because it was
Back in the 70s, you think Survivor would have worked?
Yeah. I truly think it would have worked.
Even with the format that they have.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. I mean, I think it would have worked. I just don't think it would have worked on the level of I don't
Not
think
to this day, but I think it wouldn't have gone this far to this day, but it would have gone one season at least.
see
What I was
go
sorry.
ahead, Tuttles. Go ahead.
What I was saying about Survivor was the first season of Survivor. If you had put that on TV in like 1980, it wouldn't have worked out, and especially considering the fact the guy who won's name was Richard Hatch, and he was outspoken homosexual. Like back then, stuff like that on TV, it wasn't a thing, right?
But what if they said don't talk about your sexuality? Do you think it still would have worked?
Game shows were pretty popular back then. If you spin it around that way, they would have had to have edited a lot differently because people didn't give a shit about or give a care too much about gossip like they did when whatever came out. They'd have to aim it more towards like the competition aspect of like the challenges and stuff. I think if they had retooled the show, it would have worked, and they couldn't have had a gay winner.
Okay,
I'm not saying I have a problem with who won. I'm just like in the 80s, you had Archie Bunker saying this, that, and the other thing, and like homosexuality wasn't as accepted as it is these days, right?
Okay. All right. But see, I'm thinking that a show like Survivor would not have worked because of the main thing is you have men and women who were not married living with each other.
Yeah, but that could have been part of the retooling as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. And GP says, I'm too millennial for this conversation. And Shy Lady saying, My Three Sons and Family Affair. I remember Family Affair. And My Three Sons, they're still in syndication. Sadly, and Shy Lady says, sadly, all the good sitcoms are gone. I don't even watch, I do watch network TV. I do watch some of the dramas, but sitcoms I don't watch because I think most of them today are just trash. So I
To
don't
be
know.
honest, the only things I watch on actual TV these days is I watch Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown because I've been a big wrestling fan for pretty much most of my life.
All right.
So other than that, I'm on Netflix, Prime Video, HBO Max. I have all of those channels, right?
Okay. All right.
But
Yeah.
but to me, in recent history, in the last 10 years, probably the best TV show that's been out there was called Justified, with Timothy Olyphant in it.
You know what? I saw the first season of that. That was good.
They're
That
actually coming out with a sixth season, and it's a continuation. Like him and his wife got divorced again, and he's living in Florida, and his daughter's growing up and stuff. So they're going to be coming out with a new season on Prime Video of that,
okay. All
like a
right.
like a like a 10-year later type of thing.
So let's look at cable versus network TV. Why do you think cable is able to get away with a lot more than network TV is? And when you think about it, most people have direct TV, dish, or whatever. So most people have some type of cable coming into their home. So why do you think that network TV still has the restrictions that it does compared to cable?
Because
Ratings.
I think when people are paying for cable, you know what you're getting. So like when you order cable, you get the basic ABC, NBC, packages and stuff. But then when you pay the extra for the HBOs and the Cinemax and all that stuff, you know what you're actually paying for. So they can actually do that, right? Like if you don't want to have the skin flicks on your TV, you're not going to pay for that channel package. So, it's just sort of like open season on there because you know what you're getting.
But can't you just say if you don't want to watch it, just turn it off?
That too.
Okay.
But see, in Canada, like all of our channels, like ABC, NBC, after 11 p.m., it was no holds barred up here in Canada. They would play like baby blue movies and stuff because our channels up here were like syndicated from down there, but we were owned by our own CRTC type thing. So anything after like 10:30 or 11 p.m., it was open season and they could play basically anything they wanted.
So in terms of not cable, but in terms of just like network, what we have on our network TVs, are you getting the shows the same time they come out when we get them? Like if it's a new show that comes out for us, do you get it in Canada? Do you get it at the same time?
No, I would have to tune into a when we had the antenna. I could because I'm right close to Buffalo,
Hmm.
and we had a Buffalo affiliate, and so I would watch a lot of TV out of Buffalo. Like that's where I had to watch Fox on Sunday nights,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Shy
Well,
Lady
I don't
says,
think I
I
don't think the like Cinemaxes and the HBOs and all those the FCC rulings apply to them as much as it does like your just regular public ABC, NBC, the regular TV when you just kind of click it on. I think that's one of the big reasons for that.
okay.
Could be wrong.
All right. Shy Lady says, well, first let me read what BP says. BP says family ties for family matters. Okay. Shy Lady says the old sitcoms had great music things that doesn't exist anymore. Even the commercial had jingles and singing. They were great. You know what? And she has a point because you still remember that tune that stays in your head where the intro song was a song. So when did it change
Yeah,
from a song to just, I mean, a singing song to just music?
1995, and I'm not even kidding.
Okay. So, and
He's
I mean,
got the date.
no, tell me. I mean, because I don't know. So what happened in 1995?
There was a transition in the industry over to simpler things like that. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I was on a whole discussion about it. I think I was half asleep, but 1995 was the year that was pinpointed by people that the transition was made over from old school like stuff to sort of how it's done now.
Huh?
That's interesting because I think that shows you can identify them from their jingles or from their music.
Oh, absolutely. Like even there was a throwback. There was that movie that Jennifer Aniston was in, and she was a stripper, and she went to Mexico with this dude to bring back a bunch of weed. So they were driving in the RV and they were flipping through the radio, and then they came across the Friends song, and everybody in the theater just totally popped for it because it was like, oh my god, it was so recognizable. And Jennifer Aniston does like this little cross-eyed look to the dude who was driving the RV.
So yeah, I
But
mean, it's like people do, you recognize songs, and that's another reason why I think maybe some shows have stood the test of time, some of the older ones, because you do have that music, like, and like you said, you start singing to it, you know. How many people really can recognize the opening song to some of the shows that have come and gone in the last 10 years? So I don't know.
Fame. I want to live forever.
But again, that was a song. That was a song that was recognized. So welcome, Saturday Night Smoke. Welcome. So okay, so let's go from sitcoms to talking about dramas. So you had your dramas in the '60s, like you had the Untouchables, Hawaii Five O. Um, uh, I see it, but I can't think of it off the name of it. But then again, you go to the '70s and things get a little grittier. But you still had wholesome shows. Look at the Waltons. The Waltons lasted what, 8 or 9 seasons? And again, that's another show. That's a generational show. It has been on forever. It's in syndication everywhere. So why has the Waltons lasted for so long?
You're just catering to the people who identify who watched it back then. They're actually catering to you. Um, like I said earlier, like 20, 25-year-old kids aren't watching that shit.
I don't know, Doss. I don't know. I think that you have generations that grow up on shows and they watch it, because when you think about it, when a show, okay, I'm gonna go back to I Love Lucy, because that's an older show. So you have the people who were were that age when it first came on. So those people have pretty much died, possibly, but you have another generation that has come up. They've gotten older. You have another generation. I mean, we're talking 60 years. So,
You remember? You remember when I said my mother used to make me watch Little House on the Prairie with
uh
her for punishment?
huh,
Maybe that's why those shows are still in syndication.
uh huh. You better sit down here and watch Little House on the Prairie, or else.
No,
That's,
mom. You
you know,
fucking serious? You're gonna put I Love Lucy on again? Oh my god, kill me now.
so yeah, so I don't know. I just think that there are some shows that just, for whatever reason, they just stand the test of time, and others just don't. Others, they may be good shows, but you try to put them out over and over and over, they're just not going to do it. But you have other shows that just will.
can I reverse a question on you there,
Yeah,
Solid Lucis?
yeah.
Has there ever been something you came across, say like a Netflix binge or something like that, that you absolutely loved the show back in the old days and you put it on and it just totally sucked ass?
You said with Netflix?
Yeah, like say on any of the streaming services, Netflix, Prime Video, Tubi, anything like that. Like there was a show that you totally loved, you're totally obsessed with it, and back in the day, but then you seen that it was on there, you got all excited, you got your popcorn ready, you're gonna sit down and binge it, and you get into the first episode and you realize, oh my god, this did not stand the test of time.
That's why I don't go back and watch those shows because I did that once.
I am
I want
thinking.
to keep that memory the way it is. I love that shit because I
I,
know if I go back and watch like one of those, like a oh god, I can't. Like a Magnum PI. Remember Magnum PI?
Yeah.
That show was awesome back in the day. You go back and try to watch that now, and you're like, oh my god, I
you
fucking
know what? You know what? And
I
that's
love
and
that.
that's true with Magnum PI. You watch it then, but going back, I can't I can't do it.
The one that screwed me over was MacGyver.
Yes, I have not gone back and that was the first one I thought of when I went back and watched an old episode of Magnum PI. I was like, oh my god, this sucks so bad, and it was like, okay, I can't go back and watch these shows ever again. These memories I have of this being awesome, I just want to hold on to that.
Now,
And
Pink.
MacGyver is another one of those. And I've seen they've made like remakes right now of MacGyver and Magnum PI. My fucking wife loves them. I watch this and I'm like, holy shit. Maybe I should go back and watch the old ones because these ones suck.
Well, Pink Squirrel says Miami Vice, and that is one that I try to watch again. I cannot watch it. It's just not the same.
So
So
this is Miami Vice. Okay, going back to what you're saying and what I was saying, where the sitcom society mimics the sitcoms. So if you look at what's going on in the '80s, there's a lot of freaking cocaine going on. So somebody comes up with the idea, well, where's all this cocaine coming from? Well, it's coming from South America, but it's all going right to Miami. Hey, I got an idea. Cocaine, Miami Vice. Let's do it. Boom, success.
okay, fine, right,
Well,
but at
while
the
they were
same
writing the show, doing cocaine at the same time.
but at the same time, though, again, I come back to Miami Vice. I don't think, even though they've tried and they did the remakes of the movies and everything like that, it just didn't. It just didn't stick. As opposed to your Little House on the Prairies, your Waltons.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
So.
Miami Vice is still in syndication. People still watch it.
But I don't think that it's the way it is with. Okay, but see, now you're okay.
It is.
So okay, so you're telling me that I'm wrong, but at the same time, it's like I can say the same thing what you said to me. Who is watching it?
The people
And
who loved Miami Vice back in the day. Same as
okay, but Miami Vice has not been in syndication like for years and years and years and years and years. Miami Vice, I mean, I know it's out there, but
but
it's
it
not
will
out
be in
there.
syndication for years and years and years and years.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. I mean, I'm just saying. All right. Let's see. Tuttle's. Oh, okay. Scooter says the Tuttle's Master of Illusion. What's up? Chalet says if I channel surf and see Columbo, I'll watch it. I like who done it. Okay. Stuck in the 80s and Gilligan's Island. Scooter said Gilligan's Island is just still hilarious. Okay. So again, is there any sitcom out there that you guys just absolutely cannot believe that it has lasted for so long because for whatever reason you personally think that it's a bad sitcom?
Well, I'll give you an example. I think Tuttles, I think you brought it up. Were you the one that said Married with Children?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us what.
Yeah, I
Okay,
said
you were
Married
the
with Children,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm sitting around on my couch and I'm kind of channel surfing or whatever it's going to be called then, and I see Married with Children, I'm going to put it on. I'm going to watch it just because it brings me back.
Yeah, but it does stand the test of time as well too, because I've sat down, I've gone through, I don't know, season on season, and then I showed it to my brother-in-law. He's like, "Oh yeah, awesome!" Because I can't remember what, I think it was on Prime Video, and we just hammered through them all, and it stood the test of time. It definitely did.
It does with us, but is it going to stand the test of time if you're trying to do a show like that? If you show, say, a 17-year-old kid that show, do you think they're going to get it? You know what I mean?
No, I don't. I think that they wouldn't, because my son's 22, and I think that I actually tried to show him it, and I don't think it actually went over very well. Now that you're mentioning that, I think It's gonna prove itself though. See what happens soon because the cartoon's coming out. They're doing the cartoon and they have all the original actors doing the voices of the cartoon.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dead serious.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, it's gonna be out Netflix. I think October.
Oh
Hmm.
God, not
That's
Netflix.
that
Oh.
that is interesting. Okay. All right. Um, Pink Squirrel says Friends. Scooter says Friends. I've never seen an episode of Friends.
I've never seen an episode of
Seinfeld.
Friends. I've never seen an episode of Seinfeld in my entire life,
Wow.
and
And
I've never seen The Sopranos.
I've
I've
never seen this.
I've never
I've only
seen
seen
The
bits and parts of The
Sopranos.
Sopranos.
I've never seen The
I've never seen.
Sopranos. Okay,
I've never
what?
seen Game of Thrones.
Okay, what about MASH? I've only seen 2 episodes of MASH, and MASH was a huge thing back then.
Yeah, that was a little earlier for my time. It was on in syndication when I was younger, but I didn't quite understand the premise of it when I was a kid.
Okay, Scooter, Moonlighting. That's interesting. I have not heard anyone say that show in years. Years. That
Bruce
was
Well,
Willis.
Bruce Willis. That was his first gig, right? I mean, like serious one, like where everyone really kind of
Yeah.
knew where he was before he went to the movies. Okay.
it wasn't as
Yes.
good as Remington Steele.
I liked Hunter. It had
Remington
more car
Steele was good.
crashes.
Hunter was awesome.
Hunter, now that was
Red
good.
Dryer.
That was good. That was good. See,
Do
I
I
you all
mean,
agree
remember
with.
that Simon and Simon show?
I do
I
remember
remember
Simon
that.
and Simon. Yep. See, now you're
That
It's
pulling
was
on the
like
same time. It's
stuff
like
stuff
around 18.
stuff from the 80s. Now,
yeah.
Simon, you can catch that every so often on the same network when they do Colombo, Streets of San Francisco, whatever. Simon will pop up every so often.
That's kind of neat. I wouldn't actually mind trying that one out again because I don't know. I don't know if it would stand the test of time, but the storylines were just so simple that I think you could pull off watching it. You know.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys like who done it? Like Shy Lady says that she likes Columbo because it's a who done it. Do you like the the person who's going to come? You have the murder, then you figure it out, as opposed to Law and Order and Law and Order SVU and all these other shows are out there compared to the Columbos and the Streets of San Francisco of you know 20, 30 years ago.
Well, do you want to know the truth? Murder She Wrote was one of my little secret obsessions that a lot of
Murder
people
She
didn't know I
Wrote?
watched.
Seriously? Oh, I did not like Murder She Wrote because I did not like what's her face?
An- Angelica Houston.
No, not Angelica Houston. Oh, see, now you're gonna make me you making me look it up. Okay, now I have to look it up. No, her last name started with an L.
Angela Lansbury.
Angela
Sorry.
Lansbury. Yes. Oh
Yes,
no,
I'm
I
sorry. It's
no.
been a 30 years since I've watched it. I had it half
No,
right.
no, 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 no. I've only liked her in 2 things. That was 2 movies. One was Gaslight from the 40s, whatever. But that mm-mm, mm-mm. So let me ask you
What?
this: did you like Charlie's Angels?
Not so much actually.
Okay.
I loved it.
Did
I
you
like the
like?
movies, the more modern movie
See,
versions
the
of it, but I
movies
wasn't big into the old show.
the movies, no. And I will say that there was a distinct difference that, Farrah Fawcett, she only did 1 season. And I think that season was the best. When you started bringing on her sister and then this person and that person, it just wasn't the same. It
Do you
wasn't the
want to know
same.
what thing? I don't know if this is sort of in the subject realm or not, but one thing I miss about television back in the 80s and 90s, every
What?
like 6 months or so, you'd have like the miniseries come out, like It or The Stand or The Langoliers
Oh,
or
it with
with
Tim Curry. Oh, that one
yes,
was the best.
but
Oh,
it just was like such an event. They built it up, and then just like everybody literally watched it because it was on for like 4 or 5 days or whatever, 8 till whatever time. And this little mini series is that they would put on. It was just a big event. Everybody watched it. It didn't matter who you were. and like the Langoliers went over pretty good. The Stand went over pretty good. Like I miss the big event miniseries that people would like totally look forward to, and it was
So
usually
why do
Stephen
you think
King.
they don't do that anymore?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
I mean,
I couldn't tell you
do you
why.
think that is greed, or they just don't want to spend the money? I mean, why do you think that they don't have miniseries anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no answer to that, and I miss that. Like the big event, like there was the one big event. It wasn't a mini series, but like the first time King Kong was played in 3D, and everybody had to go to 7-Eleven get the 3D glasses, and like everybody that I knew had the 3D glasses to watch King Kong. Like it was
Right,
like a whole
right.
thing. You had to do it back then.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome, Pink Squirrel. But before you start, I just want to just read a couple of comments. Scooter says Jake and the Fat Man was awful. It was awful. And you're saying stupid, silly detectives, and Ironside was great, is what Scooter says. And hold on, Charlie's Angels. Charlie says, I like Charlie's Angels because they wore beautiful clothes and they dressed so nice. Okay, so welcome, Pink. Welcome.
I have to say, we don't listen to those miniseries now because we binge watch on Netflix and all that. We have the ability to binge watch now. Do you know what I mean? When you had to wait every week, it was like we're so busy every week. We want to sit down for 4 or 5 hours and binge watch over a weekend versus,
Yeah, but still,
waiting every week.
Yeah, but if you look on Netflix and stuff, they still have like, series like, you look at I love Daredevil and stuff like that. I mean, wouldn't you still consider what Netflix has as like a series that you are still watching a series?
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it all comes out in a series, and we sit down and watch a series for 4 or 5 episodes, 6 in a row. We don't want to wait every week. Do you know if ABC, NBC puts that out, we're like, oh, another week's gone by, we forget. We're binge watchers now. I mean, I think that's what the difference, and I think it's the same thing. It's like when they put out The Stand and all that, we didn't have the ability to binge watch, but now we want it now, we want it fast. You know what I mean? We can't wait week to week. So that's
So what do you
the
think?
idea of like binge watching.
What do you think would happen if cable was just taken away? If just the plug was pulled and it was like no cable for 1 year? Do you think people would literally lose their lose their minds?
I think on the big part of it, the only people who would really lose their minds over it would be people who enjoyed watching like the football games and the sports events.
Yeah, see, I don't have cable, but I have all the other ones. I have Netflix and Hulu. So I mean, if they took all that away, yeah, I think there'd be
Okay, but if they took it away
but
and we just had to go back to ABC, CBS, and NBC, I mean, you don't think that people would get? I mean, you don't think they would get some
I
little?
do, but yeah, we'd have to retrain ourselves though. Do you know what I mean? We'd have to retrain ourselves to getting used to, oh, it's Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We're going to watch the show. We'd have to stop ourselves from our busy routine to actually focus in on the show for a particular day. Whereas before, like, it's a rainy day, I'm going to binge watch 19 episodes in a row. It was just a different way of how we watch TV.
So, okay, so let me ask this. I'm going to throw age in there. Do you think that when you say retrain, do you think it will be harder for millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Xs as opposed to baby boomers to retrain themselves to watch network TV? Ziller?
I don't think anybody past 1999 would grasp the concept.
All right,
Sorry, Zach.
Ziller, go ahead.
No, not really, because actually, me and Pink Squirrel and a lot of people had a conversation with on my show last night, and I actually grabbed a book and I was reading it, and Pink Squirrel was there. I was actually grabbed a book and shut off Netflix, the whole damn television, and I was reading a book instead of watching television. So for me, I would just if TV was completely done, I'd just go to the freaking library.
Okay.
Well,
And-
yeah, but it's a different type of focus. It's a focus. Like kids, I don't, and I'm not making a judgment here. They can't focus week to week to week. Everything's so fat. They can't read full paragraphs. Everything has to be bulletproof. That's why Twitter, 160 characters or whatever. It's a different way of viewing and reading and learn. It's not right or wrong. It's just different. It's faster. These kids, it's different. You know, it is what It's not a judgment call. Make sure of that. I'm just saying that it's, you know, I'm trying to
Okay.
get my dog on her leash here
All
as we're
right.
talking. So I
Now
think it would have to be trained to a different way of slowing down because it is a lot slower. You know, I mean,
it is. It
so
is.
I
It
don't know.
is.
And adapting too. You also have to learn to adapt to different cultures and um when you're born in a century, you got to learn to adapt to new things as well.
And
Now
another thing to think of on that end, also, what do you think kids would do if all these friggin' commercials for a half an hour show? You get 10 minutes of commercials.
true. True.
Well,
No, I mean no,
that's true
and
too. No, no, it is true.
that is
It
a
was
good
a different way
point.
to look at it. Yeah, it is a good point.
That's a very good point because I
So,
know when I very rarely sit down and just watch a show that's airing right then. I tape everything, but when the commercials come on, you're fast forwarding. You're fast forwarding, to the commercials. So,
well, that's exactly it. You have the ability to record it, right? So you can watch it when you want it. So if it's only aired and we couldn't record it, and it's only on Wednesdays
oh,
at 8 o'clock.
that would I would say that would drive me crazy, but I don't think I would have such a hard time adapting to it as opposed to maybe someone younger.
I agree. Yeah, again, it's what you grew up to. It's what you're used to, right? I mean,
Right.
it's reprogramming, and we didn't have podcasts back then. We couldn't do this. This was
Right.
all done by you talk to somebody else that was across the country. You're paying. Listen, you talk to somebody in California before I was in Illinois. It was a $300 phone bill. Here I am talking to people all over the world now, and it cost me absolutely nothing. You had to be careful who you talk to back then. It cost you money.
Yeah, I used to work for one of those one of those companies. So yeah, it did. Now,
Ma Bell and all that stuff. Calling you can't call long distance. It's a dollar something. How did we do that?
right.
Now we're able to talk to people in Australia, New York, for nothing
Yeah.
or next to nothing anyway. But so it would be a total reprogramming, and it's a simple thing though, right? You wouldn't think that it would be that, but it is. Wow, communication has changed.
Now, Scooter says advertising dollars don't support the short run serials like Shogun. Shogun was good. They were awesome though. Let's see. Bobby says Netflix is good to watch whenever you want. Thank you guys for liking the show. And BP says, Pink, you talk to me. Do you are not careful? I'm not sure what you mean. Good point. If I was charged for talking to Pink Squirrel, I'd be getting a lawyer. And Rich Man, Poor Man, Scooter. Yes, Rich Man, Poor Man. A lot of people probably don't even remember that. That was a good miniseries, and like Pink said, people are probably not going to want to wait the next week to see what's going to happen next. And that was a great miniseries. Yeah, so I don't know. Um, well, this has been a great show, guys. Thank you guys for showing up. And Pink, I think this is the first time on my show, so
Sorry,
thank you.
I'm walking my dog. I'm sorry if
No,
I keep
no, no.
cutting
I'm
out,
just saying
but
thank you for popping in. I mean, thank you very much. Thank you.
it's a very interesting topic. It's nice that you have a topic and we're sticking to it. Lots of memories are popping out of my head that I hadn't thought, and they're pleasant. And it's pleasant. And it's pleasant. It's like, oh, yeah, I
Well,
remember this one. I remember that one.
well, I will
Yeah.
tell you, I am a big fan of TV Land. I like the old shows. I like the Columbos, and when Streets of San Francisco was on, when they brought that back on last year, I was taping it. I do like my three sons. you know,
I love
I
my three sons.
there's just a lot of good shows out there, and you look at what's on TV now, and you're like, really, so, but I am dating myself, but I don't care. But I mean, times were different, so.
What about the Golden Girls?
I did like the Golden Girls. Now that's another show that I can watch, and it makes me laugh. I mean,
I
those were
don't,
funny shows.
I
I
like the
hate to
Golden
admit
Girls.
it, but I like the Golden Girls, and I'm a man.
That's okay. Everybody likes the
Yeah.
Golden
I
Girls.
mean, I don't think there's anything different if you were man or woman. Um, Pink, I don't know if you remember, you have the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but then you had and then
I
you had
love Mary
Rhoda.
Tyler and
But
Rhoda.
I love Rhoda.
Yes.
I love Rhoda. I love
I
Rhoda.
love the Mary Tyler. Oh my God. I'm like got goosebumps. I totally forgot about those.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh, it's a very good topic.
Rhoda started to go down to me when she and Joe got
Yeah,
divorced.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
When they
yeah.
had them split, I was like, nah. And then the show it just wasn't the same.
Well, because it was formula. I mean, like in all the shows now, everybody has a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, and then they get better. It's like, not everybody has to have an addiction to get back. It always seems like it falls. Well,
Yeah,
so like all the SVUs and whatever, everybody has a problem where they get into that same.
yeah.
I like when there's a storyline rather than the personal. Everybody has a problem
Well,
type of thing.
one
That's why
thing.
Columbo was good. Was Columbo married? We never saw his wife. He had a dog.
No. Columbo, Jimmy, I'm sorry, I miss you there. Columbo was not married, but he did talk about his wife. I think it was assumed that he was married, but his wife had passed.
Oh, is that how?
Yeah, because
But it was never about Columbo.
Right.
It was always about the story.
It was
now
about
you got
the
everybody
story.
to yes,
right.
yes.
And I think another thing that they ruined was, and I hate this when they do this with shows, is if the lead character gets pregnant, they write it into the story, or they get married, or if you have two people, male and female, and then all of a sudden, season 2, they fall in love, and it's like the show just starts to go down. Just you don't have to write the pregnancy into the story. Just just keep it the way it is. But I don't know. Jimmy, welcome.
No, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love the topic about sitcoms. Have sitcoms changed society? You know what? I gotta admit, that is a very good question. It's a very good topic. I do believe they do. I mean, one sitcom that I can tell you that changed my life or changed my perspective on life growing up as a young boy, I really related to it because the show was about a young boy growing up and going through different aspects of his life. And the show that I'm talking about is Boy Meets World. It's a Disney sitcom, and it is categorized as a sitcom. And
Boy Meets World is.
A lot of people
I'm
are
trying
shocked to find out that's considered a sitcom, and it is.
That is one show that I could not get into.
What's the one? Not the other
Really?
one. Boy Meets World. What's the other one? He grows up. He's a little kid with the girl with the long bushy. Oh,
The Wonder
not.
Years.
The Wonder
Yes,
Years?
thank you. Yes, sorry.
That's
Yeah, I got
another
them
one
Now,
too
confused.
that I
that's
watched
another
growing up.
Yeah.
one. That's another one that I cannot get into. But Danica McKellar, I love her. Don't laugh at me. I love her in the Hallmark
Oh, I do
movies.
too. She's
I love her
awesome.
in the
Oh
Hallmark
hell
movies.
yeah, she's awesome. I'm not gonna let as a guy, I would sit there and binge watch Hallmark movies all day, every day if I could. I'm not gonna lie.
The courtship of Eddie's father, Scooter. Yeah, I remember that one.
I'll
Let
let
me
my
tell
best
you
Oh my
friend
about my
know.
Saved by the
God.
Bell.
best
I
Yes,
friend.
haven't
that's
thought.
what I was gonna get to next. Saved by the Bell.
I haven't heard of these in
But
years.
you know
Oh
what's
my
Okay,
God.
wait, hold on.
you know
Because
what's
wait,
crazy
hold on,
about
because everybody's talking over each other. Let me go back to Pink. What are you talking about when you say you haven't heard?
All of them.
Oh, okay, all right.
All of them. I'm sitting here walking the dog. I'm like, I remember that one. Where did they all go? I might be binge watching them tonight. I'm going to tune out because I'm walking my dog. But thank you. This is a great show. I'm going to stay listening though.
Okay,
Thanks for
Pink.
having
Thank
me
you.
on.
All
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
all right, Jimmy.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Go
Yeah, I was
ahead,
gonna say,
Jimmy.
yeah, I'm glad BP brought out Saved by the Bell. As a kid, I never realized how cynical and how self-centered and selfish Zach Morris was in that show until I started watching it as an adult. And I'm like, holy shit, how the hell did I watch this as a kid and not even like pay attention to that? This guy, if you break every episode down of Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris always came up with the scheme to get something. He always wanted something, and he didn't give a shit if he hurt his friends or whatever and stuff until like like really realized what the consequences were of his actions and stuff. He didn't care as long as he got what he wanted. And sometimes when he got what he wanted, he still wasn't satisfied because he realized, like I said, that he pissed his friends off. He threw him to the curb. And somehow these kids were still his fucking friend. I'm like, holy shit. That's
Well,
in real life they would have gave his ass the boot. They would have
this is
whooped his
true.
ass.
Yep. So let me ask this, because this is the final question that I want to ask. When you
Sure.
guys watch a show, or when again, I'm going back to the I Love Lucy back in the 50s, and
Oh
from
yes.
there going forward, out of all the shows that have been on, either sitcoms or the dramas, do you think that from the first one or two episodes, you're going to know what character is going to be the standout, and whether or not that person is going to go on to the movies and have a really fantastic movie career?
Yeah, I normally judge it off the first after watching the first five. I don't usually go by the first three because the last
Okay.
few times I did that by the first three, I was wrong. So, but if I go by the first five, normally I'll spot out who's going to be the standout character of TV shows and stuff. And and I called it with Anna Kendrick. Like as soon as I saw her in Twilight, it's like, oh my God, Anna Kendrick. She does not belong as a supporting character. She is a main character in a movie. And sure enough, she blew up after Twilight. Kristen Stewart career, she went to hell. Hers blew up. Even I'm trying to remember what's his name on the TV show that his career went up really high. Uh,
Okay, so
oh,
you look at
I can't think of
something.
it.
So you look at, okay. So BP says Cheers. So on Cheers, you have Ted Danson. I mean,
Ted Danson, yeah.
he
Oh hell
blew
yeah.
up.
Chrissy
You
Alley blew up too.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody
Woody
Harrelson. Yeah,
Harrelson, but Kirstie Alley, she kind of went and then she kind of fizzled. She was, I
yeah.
mean,
But I
She
mean,
she
really
she
didn't.
still she was the '90s, like the '90s. I guess her big career moment was late '80s, mid '90s, and that was it. Because after mid '90s, her career started going down.
okay.
I can
Dos,
only
hold on,
name
I
one
missed
movie
you
with
there.
her in it.
Okay,
It's Look
so
Who's Talking.
do you look at, so again, I say, when you look at somebody like Alex P. Keaton, then he went on to do the, what were the three movies that he did, back to the Future, which pretty much made
Back to the
him a
Future and
household
Teen
name.
Wolf.
Teen
Teen
Wolf,
Wolf as
whatever.
well.
But Back to the Future really, put him on the, board, whatever. Um, but why do you think that when people, when the writers are writing this and they're casting, do you think that they even know, or do you think that they kind of say, well, this character may be the one that pops out, but it's really another character? Or sometimes it's even that supporting role that they never thought was, like with, who was it? Did 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 I do that? Family Matters with Urkel.
Urkel.
Yes,
He
Steve
was
Urkel.
only
Yeah,
supposed to
Jaleel
be
White.
a, walk on every so often, but then he was the show. So do you
Well,
think
see,
that
Hmm.
the
they
fam.
know that like, how do these people just come out of nowhere? And could any other person who played Urkel could have been Urkel? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody could have played at that time period. I don't think there could have been any other actor to play Steve Urkel other than Jaleel White because he was so relatable. That's what people loved about Urkel. That's what people connected with Urkel and why he stole the show was because if you look at the other characters in the show, they symbolize the perfect loving, caring family. And in the real world, nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect, loving, caring family. Urkel represented dysfunction or semi dysfunctional, wanting to be loved, being a loving person himself, being klutzy, just the overall normal person. That's what people connected to was with Urkel more than the other characters. And I think when Jaleel White put on those glasses, like he said in the interview, when he put on those glasses and he gave it his all, those people knew at that moment, like, this kid is gonna propel the show. This kid brought something to the table that we did not think was gonna happen, or we didn't think that this character was gonna be expanded. But this guy, this kid, has the magic. And sure enough, he did. I mean, he got on. He himself got on to say, and I respect him for being honest, saying that he had no idea how big of an impact his show and his character would be on American society. And I mean, it was amazing just growing up watching that show.
So, do you think that you have people like
Das.
do you think that you have people like the Urkels who have a hard time getting out of that character? Like you have people from like Gilligan's Island who had a really hard, like
Oh,
they really
oh
couldn't get
yeah.
anything else. So
Well,
do you?
look at Dustin Diamond who played Screech. He had the hardest time finding work,
And I think that's
hardest time
probably
because
one
everybody
reason why he
type.
had such issues. So do you think that
Actually, I had a
people?
conversation with him.
Oh, really? Okay.
He, yeah, I actually met him at a one. I went to one of his stand-up comedy shows, and after the show, I mean, he dogged on me like half the show because I was sitting by myself. And after the show, he came up to me, he gave me a hug, and he was like, "Dude, I want to thank you for taking the jokes like a man. You sat there, took them, laughed about him. You didn't get mad or upset. The last show I did, I dogged on some guy, and he totally flipped out, and I thought he was gonna freaking stab me or something. But you took it like a champ. He's like, let me get you some beers and let's talk. I was like, all right. So we sat there and talked, and we were drinking our beers, um, and he was. I asked him, so because I was curious, I asked him like, so how did playing Screech affected your career? Because I know at one point you weren't getting for a good amount of time you weren't getting work. And he's like, yeah, I was typecasted as a white nerdy guy or white scrawny nerdy character, and every time I went out for a role, people the casting crew was like, you know what, we like you, we think you did an excellent reading of this character, but the thing is, we can't get past seeing Screech.
But
It's
do you?
just we have a hard time, and for a long time it was that problem. Then he said that once he started doing other shows like cameos and stuff like that, then they started letting him do more. But even now, he hardly does. Oh well, he passed away already,
Right, right.
um, but before he passed away, he was just barely getting back into that.
But do you?
Um,
But do you think that people like when you take those roles? Do you think that the Urkels and the Screeches, Gilligan, whatever, that you kind of know you're going to be typecasted? I mean, do you think that kind of the writings on the wall, or when you're reading the script, that you kind of know that if you play this particular character, that you may be docile, and I didn't get you. That you may,
excuse me.
that you kind
Mm.
of know that you're going to be typecast.
I think so. I think when an actor reads a script, um, as a person, I've read a few scripts before, and reading a script and understanding the type of character that you're playing and what you bring to the table for that character, I feel as if they do have an understanding of what kind of person they play, what kind of typecast they'll get played into. So look at Matthew McConaughey, great prime example. He knew from the beginning when he became an actor that they were going to typecast him in rom coms, and that's all he was doing in the beginning of his career was rom coms back to back. And he himself said that he got tired of doing that, and he started doing different roles. He was turning down rom coms left and right just to do different roles, um, and he himself, like I said, he already knew from the beginning that he was going to be typecast as the pretty boy rom com. Um, the person that the girl would be going after.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Well, I am going to start wrapping it up. So, Doss, I'm going to start with you. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, as far as being typecast, if you're going to get in Hollywood and you're going to start acting and you could get typecast as a certain character, you got to run with it
Hmm.
because the Matthew McConaughey's are very rare.
So,
Hmm. Look at
do you think there's a trade-off, meaning that if you are typecast as the Screeches or the Urkels, and this is just your only sitcom, um, that
You
make your
milk it.
you
You
make your money right, you
Sorry.
milk it for what it is, and then if you don't get anything
Hmm.
else, then you just, at least you can say that you were on a great sitcom or a great drama,
you could,
whatever.
as an actor, you could say I had a successful career, even if you
Yeah,
get that
you
one
can.
show,
Right, right.
even if you
Okay,
get typecast.
okay, all right. Jimmy, you have any last words?
Yeah, just like that. Some actors, they understand they'll get typecast, and they milk it for all it's worth. Like Sean William Scott,
Wait, hold on. Doss,
he
could
played
could you
Stifler.
wait? Hold on, Doss, could you mute yourself? You have some background noise coming in. Thanks. Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah, you milk it as much as you can, make your money, and if Hollywood says they don't want you no more, okay, but you milk the cow. Sean William Scott, who played Stifler in American Pie movie, said, "I was always typecast as the outrageous, outgoing, hyper crazy guy, and every single role he's done is practically the exact same character. His characters have never changed. It's always the same type of character in every single movie he's been in, whether it's American Pie." Road Trip, you name it. The Goon, like the Goon or Goon,
Goonies,
same thing.
Goonies, Goonies.
No, Goon.
Oh, good.
Sean
Okay.
William Scott was in Goon,
Oh, okay.
not
Okay.
Goonies.
Okay.
Goon's a hockey movie. He
Oh,
plays a
okay.
hockey goon.
Okay.
Yeah. So like he always played that exact same character in every single movie, but I mean it worked for him. He made his money. He was happy. He wasn't upset with it, and he still continues to do certain roles like that, and he's not bitter about it. Then you have actors like um, Tom Welling who bitch and complain about it because he I don't know if y'all know who Tom Welling is, but he played Clark Kent slash Superman
Oh yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Smallville.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So he was afraid that he was gonna get typecast as Superman, and you know what? He should have ran with it instead of being afraid of it. And
Okay.
because of his attitude that he had, practically ruined his own career. Not because he was typecasted, but because of his attitude towards it.
Okay. And Tuddles, your turn. Any last words? Any last words?
I think I think whether you get typecasted or not, and if you're in Hollywood, you get an opportunity, you should just freaking run with it because there's 10,000 people standing behind you that would take your slot. Take
And
it, be
Tuddles,
happy with
you
it,
are
and do what you do.
so right. You are so right. There are
Absolutely.
so many. There are so many people. I mean, so many people who are just, they have big dreams, but very. Even if you get a sitcom or a show, a 1 hour drama, whatever, that makes it. That is very few, far and in between. Very few and far in between. And it's even worse now because I've noticed that a lot of people from the big screen now are going to Netflix, and now they're taking the roles that maybe you could have had, So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for
you
sure.
you get that opportunity. Yeah, yeah. So
Well, Solid Blue Sister, this was one heck of a topic. I'm glad it didn't go political like your show tends to do sometimes.
well, that's why,
Same. Same. Great show. Great
I
topic.
try to, after what happened last week, and I don't know, that one show that just went haywire. I try to keep my shows, even though they tend to drift, whatever. Everyone knows how my shows are. I'm not trying to be the strict teacher, whatever, but I can't have shows where people are talking over each other, calling people out of their names, whatever. That's just not this show. So I appreciate everyone staying on topic. I was trying to have a good show, a fun show, and I learned something. You guys told me stuff that I didn't even know. And that 95 thing, Tunnels, with the music and the singing, I did not know that. I'm actually going to research that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it again. It was something I watched, and it was and then I got involved in a conversation on different podcasts about it, and it was nailed down to like 1995. You got a plus minus 1 or 2 years there, right? Because Married with Children didn't end until 97, but realistically, it jumped the shark around 95 when they brought in 9 or 7 or whatever his name was. But anyways, yeah, 1995 seems to be the date, the year that people nailed down when everything changed. So.
Okay. And Tuttles, I put my email in. If you can email me, I know you email on Friendly Differences, but I want to talk to you about, when you're able to come on. And tomorrow, guys, if you can, on Friendly Differences, Bahram and I are going to be doing a show with Scooter and Spanky from Beans and Weenie. Is going to be on tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific time, streaming across YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And hopefully, we can get everything up and running on Podbean, where we can do all these platforms at one time, but it will be video, so you will see us. And I'm actually looking forward to that. So that's 12 noon tomorrow Pacific time. So you guys could jump on, that would be great. And on Podbean, Friendly Differences, we have not been doing many shows. So if you search for us, we're at the bottom. So yeah, but Doss, Jimmy, Tuttles, Ziller, thank you for popping up, and Pink and Frankie, BP, Shy Lady, Petty Deb, everyone who was in the chat. Scooter, thank you guys so much, because my show does not work without you guys. And when I say I appreciate you, I really, really do. So thank you.
Thanks for
Oh, you're
having me
welcome. No
up.
problem. Anytime. Great show again, as always.
Thank you.
Wow, you hit some really good
forgot-
topics.
I forgot what we were talking about.
I'm sorry, Doss.
I forgot what we were talking about.
That's okay. That's okay. But anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys
Das, real
tomorrow.
quick, let me hear.
I'm sorry, you want to say something, Doss?
I was gonna say, Das, let me hear it one time, just one more time, D. Let me hear. Poop, please don't hurt me.
You want to say that, Doss?
No, I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Your profile picture, Ben Stiller.
Okay, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow or Monday. Bye.
Definitely.
Handsome.
You're the best, Das.
And the Warriors win. Yes.
Boo.
Yes.
Boo.
Jimmy,
Come
are
on,
you so
Mavericks?
who?
What the hell?
Oh, that's right. You're in Texas, right?
Damn.
Jimmy, are you in Texas?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I have to. Warriors. They have to do it. They have to come back this year.
I
They have
know.
to. And besides, you know what? I am not a Jason Kidd fan.
Really?
No, I am
Really?
never. I've
Why?
never. I've
I'm
never
curious.
liked no.
Is it because of his attitude? Because I remember he was a really arrogant player.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's it. That's it.
I get it.
But we shall see.
All right, you have a good one. I'm about to start my
you.
show, so
All
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Frankie, thank you so much for coming. And I love your new sign language. I love your new sign language logo. Tuttles, thank you. VP, thank you. Thank you for popping in. Power Girl, thank you. This is my Friday music. I know this is different from my Monday through Thursday music. And for anyone over on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, thank you for watching. If you were there, thank you. And thanks for hanging out and just listening to the rest of the music.
It's only for you. Do you know you are everything? You're the flowers of the spring. You're full moon in the dark. You're my heart and my soul. Do you know you are everything?
Thank you. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Bye.